Alright, hey, what's up guys? You can call me Daniel. But yeah, welcome back to another video. This should be the second video I think on my channel. And just what I'm gonna be talking about mainly is about the game Ghost of Tsushima, which Ghost of Tsushima, which is a game that came out it's been out for about a year and a half, 2 years now. I think. So yeah, just talking about that, I bought it in May, or no, not May. I bought it in March, so about 2 months. Yeah, 2 months ago, and I think it's a pretty good game. I've been playing it pretty recently. Now, I've been pretty consistently playing it. I like it a lot. It's amazing. The graphics are amazing. The art, the animation, and art style both are pretty good, and just I like how I like the scenery pretty much of it. How the grass, the flowers, the trees, how everything moves and shifts, and how you progress through the game, pretty much. But yeah, I'm mainly just gonna be talking about the first and second act, and because that's how far I made it through the game. I'm not on the third act yet, and then the what is it called? The DLC, which is on Iki Island. So yeah, pretty much they split up the island into three parts, which is Izuhara. I think the three names are Izuhara, Toyotoma, and Kamigata. I might have butchered the names, but yeah. And then the third, or the fourth kind of like island, I guess, is Iki Island, which is part of the DLC. Which is it's it goes like in a straight line, or from you start from the bottom and you go up to the top. So first, second, third act, and then off to like the side is Iki Island, pretty much. But the mistake I made is I started off. I completed Act One, and then I went through almost all of, not all, but like I'm pretty close to finishing Act 2, and I just was like, you know what, I'm gonna go to Iki Island because it's not a bad idea and I don't mind doing it. So I probably shouldn't have done that, because roughly I think estimated it takes about like two hours, about 3 hours to finish the DLC. And yeah, I'm at a point now where it's like I should have started this DLC. I should have just finished progressing through Act 2. And yeah, I pretty much shouldn't have done the DLC, but it's fun. I mean, I like it. I probably most definitely would recommend doing it after you finish all three acts. So yeah, I mean, I like it. I mean, it shows a lot of history of the Japan, because Tsushima is off the coast of, what is it, Korea? Yeah, off the coast of Korea, and it just shows a lot about the history, about the Mongol Empire, the samurai, the shogun, the straw hat warrior, or yeah, samurais, the different samurais, and the different cultures, pretty much. Which is that's why I really mainly got the game, just to find out more about the different culture of Japan, and to find out, just the history, how the samurais originated, or how the Mongol Empire, like how they ruled back in the day. Because I'm pretty sure, was it? I'm pretty sure they ruled at what, rough in the 13th century, around the 13th century. And yeah, because I played this game, I'm doing my research about the Mongol history, and about samurais, and about, yeah, their empire, and like how they had this wide territorial empire. But yeah, it's a very good game. I would definitely recommend it. The story mode, the campaign is pretty good. It's pretty much, I would say it's open world. It's semi-open world or something. I forgot the terminology of how you would put it, but it's not all the way open world. But it is. It mainly takes you have a pretty big map, and a pretty big, like, the exploration is pretty huge too. But yeah, I like it a lot. But yeah, I mean, I as I as I go through progress, or journey through life, and I play a lot of video games too, and I'm starting to realize I like a lot of story mode, campaign based games. I mean, I could play like first person shooter, or I could play first person shooter games, or like games like, not COD, but like Apex and Fortnite. But like, I mean, I'm not gonna stick with it as much as I'd stick with a story mode game. Like, I continuously going back to it to be able to complete side quests, or complete certain missions that I didn't complete. Like, oh yeah, that's a cat, Daisy. But yeah, I mean, I'd pretty much just go out throughout the game, go back to the game, and continuously play it. Like Horizon Zero Dawn, for example. That's a pretty OG PlayStation game, so I'd continuously still play that game. I would, even now, I go back and I complete the game. I beat it. but I'd still go back and do the side quests. I'm pretty sure I completed the main DLC, which has to do with like the not ice territory, but like the it's kind of like snow Arctic, some type of territory. But I already completed that, and then, but yeah, Ghost of Tsushima is a really good game, and I would 100% recommend it. It's, you know, yeah, you could turn the blood off if you want. You could turn subtitles on to Japanese, I think, or you could just turn subtitles on, and then, or you could have it in Japanese, yeah, like I just said. And let me see, yeah. So pretty much the first, I don't want to spoil it for people who want to watch it, but pretty much the first act is about you kind of after you survive the war. The hero is Jin Sakai, the main character. You are playing as Jin Sakai, who is what is it? His father passed away. I'm not gonna say how it, but his father passed away, so he's under, or his uncle took him in, which they call him, what do they call him? Lord Sakai or something? But yeah, his pretty much uncle took him in. They go to war. Him and his uncle are the only ones who survive. And his uncle gets captured by Khotan Khan, which is the grandson of Genghis Khan. And you know, if I made any mistakes or got anything wrong, feel free to, in the comments, type out, you know, where I went wrong. But if you played the game, but pretty much, yeah, his uncle gets captured. He rescues him. He takes time to rescue him, but yeah, he pretty much just gets, you know, survives, gets help, rescues his uncle in the first act, and then roughly through the second act, they take pretty much all of what is it called, Izuhara. Yeah, they take pretty much all of Izuhara over. You have some side missions. You have some stuff that you collect armor. You upgrade your armor, pretty much weapons, and hey, stop Daisy. And then yeah, and then the second act is where I'm at, where, what is it? Second act is mainly about, yeah, like the same thing, pretty much upgrading your armor. Pretty much you go progressing through defeating the Mongol territories, slowly taking over. What is the second? So slowly taking over Toyotama is the name of the second act, like the place. But yeah, pretty much that's it. And then you're with your uncle, and you have certain people that help you. I don't think the Straw Hats, they don't help you. You get help by the Shogun, you get help by archers, and then yeah, a few different not tribes. I don't. There's a name for it, but certain like factions or groups of people, like pretty much resistance people who aren't Mongols. They decide to help you out. But yeah, and then you slowly progress to go into Khotan Khan's, not the castle, but you're about to pretty much retake one of the big castles, or one of the big places where the Sakai's, or where Jin's like uncle once ruled, or pretty much take over this big place that Mongols are at currently. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's cool. Trust me. I'll have like a picture of I don't have that much gameplay from my own gameplay. Like, I didn't record anything, but I'll have a picture of like the what's it called? I'll have the picture of the game, and then I'll have main character, and then I'll have like probably some weapons, pictures of weapons as I talk. But yeah, you start off, or you always have the Sakai sword, which is his own katana, or Japanese sword, whatever you want to call it. And then he has also a mini blade, which I forgot what it's called. And then you have different stances that you have to obviously fight different types of Mongols. Like if they have spears, you have a certain stance that you have to use to fight them. If they have a sword and a shield, both, there's a certain stance for that. Like wind stance, stone stance. There's like if they dual wield swords, if they have one sword, so there's a certain stance for that. And then there's a certain stance for like brutes, which is pretty much these big buff guys with like these big weapons, like a big spear, not a big, like a big axe, or big like wooden bat looking thing. But yeah, it's pretty cool. The game isn't as complicated as people would think. It's pretty detailed, and it's fun. Like, I guarantee it might take a while to get through the game, but it's definitely worth it. Like, as you progress through, and the journey, they take you through his origin, the origin of the people who he's working with, his friends. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it a lot. But yeah, I mean, I might make another video detailed about like the Mongols, because that's kind of where the history that I like to research, like that I'm pretty much now researching on, is the Mongols and how they had a pretty big, how their territory was pretty, it was wide around like Middle Eastern Asia, um, China, a little bit of modern day Russia. It's pretty big. Like their territory expanded a lot, but I'll be getting into that maybe in another video. Um, but yeah, it's a really fun game. I would 100%, 10 out of 10 recommend this game. I don't know how it didn't win Game of the Year. Was it last year? I think it was. Yeah, I don't know how it didn't win Game of the Year last year, but I know The Last of Us came out. Last of Us Part 2 came out last year, I think. So yeah, I don't know how it didn't win Game of the Year, but yeah, I still recommend it. And yeah, it's amazing. I mean, for a story mode game, it's a pretty good game, and you could play it on, what is it, PC? You could play it on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5. I don't know how. I'm pretty sure it's a PlayStation 5 exclusive, so I don't think you could play it on Xbox. But yeah, it's a really good game. Um, I have it. What I've heard from it is good reviews. They take some aspects of not. They take some aspects of Horizon Zero Dawn, like some of the common. What is it? Like climbing, for example, probably like running or climbing, some stuff like that. They took that the idea from Horizon, from other games too. But it's a pretty good game. I'll be doing more videos on games in the future, and like anime. Like I said, this pretty much is a channel pretty much of stuff that I like to do. Like, you know, video games and anime is just like two examples of the hobbies that I like to do. I mean, it isn't obviously, I don't do it all the time. I mean, I'm a student, but it is summer, so I'll have a lot of time to make videos about these games, about reviews about them, and then I'm pretty sure I'm gonna make a part 2 to this video about Act 3 when completely finish the game. So another video is coming out for sure about that. But yeah, and then as I go through the summer, I'm probably gonna be doing a lot of reading because I realize I open my mind to a lot of stuff, or not open my mind, but I have a better understanding on reading now and how my vocabulary, and if I start reading more, it'll better my vocabulary and it'll help me to fully remember stuff. So I'll more than likely do a lot of reading this summer. I have a lot of books that I want to read too. So like over here, this is a rhyming dictionary, and then that I got from a friend of mine who was a up and coming artist. But yeah, and then this book is The Alchemist, which it isn't about alchemy at all. I started reading it, but once I start reading the book and I stop, I kind of forget what it's about. It isn't about like alchemy or sorcery or witchery or whatever. Like, it isn't about that. It's pretty much just about like staying focused on what, like if you're religious, or if spiritual, or if you're in like for Christianity, and if you're in a relationship, how to stay focused and honing on that. And it's by Paulo Coelho. It's called The Alchemist. And then this book is called Living Among Lions by David and Jason Van Ham, which I follow them on Instagram, and they're pretty strong Christians. So this book was recommended to me by a friend and who lives in Michigan. So I'm reading this book this summer. And then the book that, well, this is just one of a few books that I'm gonna be reading, but it's called the story of my life. It's called pretty much just The Pimp by Iceberg Slim, and this was recommended by YouTuber or content creator Young Don the Sauce God, and I follow him I watch almost every one of his videos. I watch his vlog channel, or not vlog channel, his second channel. But yeah, he's pretty. I like this content pretty much. I follow a lot of stuff. He's one of the content creators that I watch pretty frequently. And yeah, he goes live on Twitch, but he recommended that book. He quoted a line from that book. And then I also watched a video that Dave Chappelle reviewed it, or he was like doing some stand up, and he like kind of quoted the book, and he kind of went in detail about it. But it's pretty interesting to me. It's interesting. So yeah, these are pretty much a little bit of the variety of books that I'm about to read. I'm probably gonna start off with Pimp, and then make my way down the line. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. Appreciate the love and support. Feel free to like the video, subscribe, and yeah, I mean, back at it again. Stay hydrated because it is summer. But yeah, all right, peace.